All right, here we go. I haven't been on for a little bit. This video is going to be kind of therapeutic for me. Everybody's been either calling, texting, or emailing me how I'm doing. My father passed away a couple of days ago. He's fought hard for his life. He had hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain, and that caused, I guess, the stroke, and then long COVID, and then a myriad of things. And then when he became where he couldn't get up, out of the lift chair, then that brought on bed sores, and it quickly went from stage 2 to stage 4, and he couldn't come back from that. I owe everything to my dad because he's the one that got me involved in golf. So, very first day of my golfing life, he picks me up when I am 13 years old. I'm almost 52, so that just tells you how long I searched to find the golf swing. Some people still haven't found it. And he picked me up and took me to Ravenwood Country Club, and it was a 9-hole course, and they had a golf pro there, did a little clinic, and we walked it. And I walked 72 holes that first day. So I was hooked. And without that, who knows where my career would have been. He allowed me to try to play off and on mini tours when I didn't have the talent that I do now, but I'm trying to impart that to you. So hopefully somebody somewhere down the road picks this up and does something with it. And, I hope I can give back like my father gave to me. So I thought long and hard about kind of what I wanted to talk about, because my first 3 videos are pretty complete, but little by little I want to add a little bit more to it. And I was actually down in Florida with my buddy Dave. Got a place in Bonita Bay, and I go and see him, and we had a nice jam session, and he had questions about the golf swing, and it just helped solidify issues and things that people do, and I was able to in-depthly talk about it. So we're going to kind of get into this. I was asked more about hand action by several people. So I kind of want to really get into this and when it happens and when it can happen and the differences of it, okay? So without a golf club, you'll see that the left hand, so this is your arm and this is your forearm. So this doesn't really have to move. It doesn't move like this. When it moves straight back from your shoulder socket and joint to flex the teres minor and tricep to make the muscle move, is the forearm didn't rotate. Okay, so if the arm stays here and the hand moves, you'll see that the forearm has rotation, right? So if you move this wrist joint, this forearm has to move. Hope everybody can see that. So, and it looks different, by the way. This is one of the things that Dave was confused about a little bit, was when you put it up level, because the golf swing is really forms of a tilted circle. You'll see how different that looks to the camera down here. Okay, but it's the same motion, and that's what the left hand does. Okay, so the left hand has to be in the correct support position to be able to do that. When you get your grip and your thumb is on the right hand side and you make this motion, you'll see how easy it is to do. If the grip is incorrect, like say this is turned to the left a little bit too much, you'll see that my wrist joint works totally different. Okay. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about this left-hand grip. And I only have it, I have my Galaxy Flip on a stand. So, I'm not hugely, into the whole part of this yet. So kind of bear with me on where my hands go. So you'll see I kind of take this second joint and curl it. And then you have this little half line See? And this pad right here, this is like your sixth finger. This is the fat part of your hand, okay? And this has to be on top, see? Now, I choke down a little bit, but the reason why is because when I grip to the end, see, I don't have control and it can slip into my palm. I see this more than anything. The other part I might see is the left hand might be turned way over, which looks like it's in the fingers, but if I open it up, you'll see that it's in the palm, right? And you see all the veins popping, right? So when it's correct, this bell of the club is a little bit thicker at the end compared to the rest. And then this thumb will support the weight. You want those to be together, like so. And then that is a solid grip there. Now I'm gonna move it back out in here. See? So now that left hand can make that motion. Now, there is many ways, all right, understand this, that with the hand action moving, so we'll get into the right hand in a second, but when we get into, I can take the golf club and I can lock joints, and there are tour pros and great players that turn and move the body, and you can kind of see how the ribs move, right? So everything kind of, you see, kind of moves together. Now, when I do that, and I'm gonna kind of go slow with it, okay? You'll see how there's rocking this way. But if I was to take my golf club off, you'd see that that left hand made that motion, okay? That doesn't mean that this is the machine method where you just have one joint here, then that second joint moves, and then the third joint moves, and then we get into the lower body motion. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you can take the club back and hit it like this, right? And the thing is that not so much a problem, is that when the golf club continues to turn and go further back, you have to have a little more, see, there's a lot more turn here. So there won't be this dynamic action, and we're gonna get into that where as the club goes further back this way, before the hand set, now you have more timing issues. Doesn't mean world-class players don't do that. You're not a world-class player. So when the body turns, that's what they're trying to teach, right? And they get back here, and then they separate with the lower body where the upper body hangs back and get down in this position here. It's just really hard on the spine. It would look something kind of like this, right? And a whole lot of turning motion and timing compared to just that. So I'm trying to simplify this stuff for you guys where you don't have to be super flexible and you can hit the ball further than what that motion is, and I'll explain why. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it. So I'm not sitting there telling you that you won't be efficient or a good player as if your body's thinking of turning. Now, understand that, because when I say that kind of stuff, my lower body moves in balance correctly, right? In sequence. So if I'm here and I say turn, it really is just kind of this whole midsection just kind of going to the side. That's what they really would like. Golf pros want you to do when they're teaching you, right? But when invariably every time I tell somebody to turn, they immediately rank their hip around and the golf club goes behind them, and then they've got to come over the top and they're not on line, right? So understand that what I'm teaching you is the hand action that is a pretty much pure circle that you don't have to time, okay? So, hope that clears that up a bit. The other part of this too is when the right hand, okay, makes this backwards motion. See, it doesn't do this, right? You wouldn't throw a ball like this. It looks like this. Why? Because the left hand rolls. See, when the left hand rolls, the right wrist is going backwards, but because the left wrist quarter rolls, it looks like the right hand is back. But if I made my right hand do this, then my left arm would go way up, okay? And it would look kind of like this in the golf swing. See how my right hand rolls? So I want the golf club to feel, I want that wrist motion going like that. And when this happens and the left grip is correct, then that golf club goes back in a circular little manner, okay? Now, we'll kind of hope you understand that this is not anything different than throwing a ball, right? And or something at a target, right? Because we're trying to throw it out there, right? Because we have a circle, ball, got to go, right? Every other sport's that way, right? So if I'm only throwing it, say from here to 5 yards to you, then this wrist joint is the only thing that would move. If I have a ball in my hand, this is the only thing that would move, and you'd see how it kind of just move this way, and you see that nothing really moved here, right? And there. Now I have a whole bunch of different speeds because I have a whole bunch of different throws. And I want you to understand what you probably don't know about the different shifts and things. But so when we get into throwing, and I'm just throwing a little bit. So let's say a sand wedge is like a 100-yard throw to me is really nothing more than about here. It's more accuracy, and I'm not trying to throw it over the moon. Okay. So when I make this little motion, you'll see that the arm is at the 90, right? And then the arm goes to the target and the body supports. So that's only going to be thrown like 100 yards. So if I throw it a little further, you'll see that my body now starts to pick it up a little bit. Now, all those are not working this part to go this way while the arm is going that way. Okay? So if you're get out and get a playing lesson with me or come out to the driving range, you'll see a lot of times, I mean, I can even just stand on one leg like so, right? And just make a little throwing motion. And obviously there's no dynamic lower body here, right? So it would look like, so I get driver off the deck. Let's say I hit 260, 70, something like that. And just like that. So obviously, and if I had just one leg, then I would swing in a circle and I wouldn't line or anything like that. But there's no dynamic, right? So the other part, the 20% or more that your body creates is by the legs going this way while the arm goes that way. So, don't believe me? Grab a ball and I'm gonna throw it now further. I can throw it over, I can throw it under, it doesn't matter, right? But if I'm only just throwing it to the 10 yards, 20 yards, you'll see just a little flip, right? But if I'm throwing it now 50 yards, 100 yards, what's gonna happen? As my arm goes back, you believe me or not, what did my weight do? Now that didn't mean I moved my whole center, right? As my arm is going this way, my leg is going that way. And if I'm throwing it from center field, this is where long drivers can swing 150 miles an hour, right? It's not because they're using the ground and going up and down. All that happens, right? So don't try to jump up. I see people on the driving range doing this, stuff like that. No, that's not it. So if I'm throwing from center field, watch what's going to happen. My weight's going to be on my right leg, obviously all of it, right? And as my arm continues to go back, I'm really winding up. See, this leg is over here. It's not out here, right? And then from here, now my leg is separating the same time I'm way back here to throw. So how would that look in a long drive guy? A long drive guy will swing back and he won't have as much hand action in the beginning because his hands are going to be like a baseball player. It will do this up here, right? So when they're making the throwing motion, they're way out here, way out here, way out here. And as the golf club starts to go that way, then their lower body separates while their arms are still going back, okay? And that gives them that whip that's way up here. It's unnecessary. You don't really have to do it that far for most people. You literally, as the golf club goes in a pure circle, when the golf club goes right about here and starts to go this way, the weight goes. See? Now, do you see what I'm doing? I'll kind of show you see my weight's going that way. Now, when I do this, I don't want to do this with a pitching wedge or a sand wedge and try to throw it 100 yards. It would look like this. Right? And does that, well, that's got way more whip. Now I'm over the green, I just made no bogey, right? So I'm just making little 3/4 throws and my lower body's just kind of supported. Even there, it'll still move a little bit just because it wants to counterbalance weight. But it's not making a big drastic, right? So when you see like a big drastic move, you'll see the weight go this way because everything is a throw. See how my hand goes there and there, knee goes there? Then the body goes, and then the arm unwinds. All of that is what I want you to get once you master just this little bit here. And then get a ball in your hand and start winding up and throwing. And if you want to throw it further, you'll say, holy crap, he's right, look at that. My body does do that automatically. It's just because we put this stupid thing in our hand and we make it look like that this tool, it's all it is a tool. It's no different than a ball in our hand, it's just a ball on the ground. So you still have dynamic motion. That's the reason why people say turn. You'll go, usually most people go a reverse hip tilt this way, which is like a sway that way. You can see how far the golf club is behind me. Now the ground's gonna push me this way, and now you slice. And then they're gonna be like, well, take the club out wide, right? Because now if you take the club back out wide, you'll start to get, but now your body is too far off the ball this way and has to counterbalance and tilt this way. So how many times have you seen somebody on the driving range go wide and then back this way and then, no, right? So I want you to feel this little throwing motion where the body just supports, and then start to add that lower body when you really want to throw it far, right? And get out on the driving range, take some balls, take little plastic balls and start humming those things. Even overhand, it doesn't matter. All I'm doing, if I go over, all I'm doing is bending my spine, and it's the same mechanics as that. So, all right, now that's golf swing part, grip part. Hopefully you guys have any other thing. Now, I can do one more little thing. I'll kind of show you something kind of cool here. Hopefully, yeah, you can still see on the ground a little bit, okay? All right, better, no, other way. There we go. All right, so wherever your club goes is where your weight goes, but then the butt of the club will be at your target line. So wherever the club points is your target line. So if I put it up here, target line is up here, right? So when I bend over, all I'm doing is making that same little motion, and you can check anytime you want, the butt of the club is pointed at the target line. So when I get up here to the top of the swing, top of the throw, you see that shaft is pointed at the target line. So when my arm starts to go down the target line, you'll see my arm goes to the target. See, it's right on the target line parallel to it there, and it goes through that way. So you can always check it, because immediately if you sit there and get on the shaft and you go, holy crap, I'm offline. So now somehow I've got to lift it up and get it back online. Otherwise you miss the golf ball, right? So taking the club back in one piece takeaway to parallel and then having the wrist cock happen later really is why they're trying to get you to go shallow, right? Because you're technically off plane up here in a line, and hands are hinging and elbows dropping and weight going left. And see, this golf club is not on that shaft line. So what they teach you to do here is to now drive the lower body, turn and flatten the hand, and now I'm on plane, right? It's just unnecessary. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean what they're teaching is 100% wrong. It's just a fault and a fix, right? So they know that if you take the club back inside, that the party is over, you've got to come over. So the opposite would be up, 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 and then shallow. At least you got a chance, right? But ideally, just put the thing on plane with your hand, and you don't have to worry about that. All right. Now we're going to go into one other topic. Haven't done this, but this is my channel. So I have been a long time. I was a CrossFit affiliate owner. We're going to get into training a little bit, talk about food and muscle, and why muscle is the number one longevity marker that you can have. I want people to say, I need to lose 30 pounds. No, forget that. I want you to say, I am under muscled. I need more muscle. Muscle burns more fat. You got to have way more protein. You need about, for whatever you want to weigh, lean body weight is how many grams of protein you should have. If you're already lean and you're just trying to get stronger, then it should be like a 1-to-1 ratio. I mean, if I eat 300 grams of protein, I'll eat 300 grams of carbs. What? Yes. Because that's glucose and that body is used, and protein in muscles use it quicker, helps with the brain and all that. My father, love him, but he never really trained. If I have any sort of regrets in this, is that I trained him some, but it was way later in life. It was after 10 years on cruise ships where I was a knucklehead. and great friends from it, but it was 10 years away from him. So wish I could change that, is what it is. But he didn't really train. And everybody that I see in all of these homes and nursing homes and hospitals don't have any muscle. They're under muscled. So when you don't have muscle, it's not to look jacked and tan. That's just part of the deal, that what happens by the human physique when you eat correctly and all of that. I eat 250, 300 grams of protein and close to 200 grams of carbs a day. And I'm about 218 to 20 pounds, right? And 6'3". So if you want to lose more weight and put on a little more lean muscle, then you up your protein and cut your carbs. Go like a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 carb to protein ratio. If you want to bulk up and put some size on you and you're a little skinny mini, then you need a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 carb to protein ratio. But you still need to get your body weight in protein, because I don't want anybody that's on this channel to sit there and die early because of dementia and Alzheimer and stroke and heart attack and cancer, and all of those 100% are because you're under muscled. So your body can't go through the process of what it needs. Okay? You only get 10% of your total protein intake to repair and build muscle tissues, right? You need EAAs, not BCAAs. You need EAAs right before you work out and right after you work out. Why? Because it goes into your bloodstream quicker, right? And it's a quick digesting protein. So that's going to be 20, 30 grams of protein on each one of those. So you're already at 50 or 60 right there, and you've had a workout, boom, ready to go. I follow Gymnastic Bodies. I don't get paid for this. I don't get endorsed by this. Christopher Summers is great. He has a whole program online. You can do all kinds of things. It's strength and mobility. And I also do just pure strength stuff. I don't know why it has to be labeled anything, but it's called convict conditioning. It's just super simple. You can literally start with sets of 50 push-ups and things off of a wall, and it goes into detail. Literally what you see before you is body weight. So people say you can't build muscle with body weight. Bull crap, right? So and you get rings like this. You can sit there and pull yourself up and over and down and pull and all of that, right? So you don't think that's strength training, wrong, right? But you don't start there, right? It takes years to get there, but little by little by little, you get there. And you have progressions and you have goals. I want you guys to live, right? I wish I'd have done that with my father. That's the only thing. And I see people that are old and frail and stuck in their ways, and they've already got, they're already heading that way. And it's hard to see. You know, it's hard to see. I want people to be like, man, I want not how much fat do I need to lose, how much muscle do I need to put on? So that's my only little rant, rave that I want, because I want you guys to be successful in life. I want you to throw the ball out as long and as far as you want to, and high and low as you want to, with proper hand action and the body supports. So when you get stronger, then you can throw it further, right? I mean, grandma can only throw it so far, right? Compared to a Major League Baseball pitcher who's going to wind up, right? And have his leg go one way while his arms go on the other. You see how that happens? That's what happens in the golf swing, right? But people don't teach that because they think you turn and you turn, and that's not true, right? I hope you understand that. All right, that's me off my soapbox. I appreciate everybody, okay? Thanks.